So on March 2nd, Donald J. Trump on Truth Social created a post that said that a US crypto reserve was going to be created. And this crypto strategic reserve would include the likes of XRP, which is made by Ripple, Solana, which is made by Solana Labs, and ADA, which is the native cryptocurrency behind the project of Cardano. And a lot of people said, wait a second, where the heck are Bitcoin and Ethereum? Is it just going to be a couple of these altcoins that are controversial? And then shortly after, Donald Trump came out and said, obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as other valuable cryptocurrencies, will be the heart of the reserve. I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum with an exclamation mark, like a little kid. The reality is, I think that it's not really Trump behind a lot of these ideas with the crypto reserve. And as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned, I actually don't believe that he's very knowledgeable in the space. I think who's actually behind it is the crypto czar David Sachs. Potentially Elon Musk has a big say as well, and definitely another influence is Peter Thiel. What's interesting though is that some of those that I just mentioned are not really fans of these altcoins like Solana and Cardano. If you take a look at, let's say, Elon Musk, he seems to only be backing the likes of Bitcoin and perhaps Dogecoin as well. So the first thing I did when I saw this post at 10:24 a.m. is I went ahead to check out all of the charts on Coinbase because I wanted to see what happened at 10:23 a.m., 10:22 a.m. I wanted to see how much insider trading took place. And to my surprise, it did not seem like there was a lot at all. I mean, we saw spikes. For instance, Cardano spiked nearly 60% after the announcement. But if you take a look, there really was no action volume-wise and no fluctuations in price prior to. And then the first candlestick is literally on March 2nd at 10:24, and obviously there's many bullish green candlesticks happening afterwards. Same exact thing with XRP at 10:23, and an hour before that there was really nothing happening. Same exact thing with Ethereum and Solana. But before we go and conclude that nothing fishy was happening, we see here that there are stories like this where one trader made millions betting $200 million on Bitcoin just before Trump's crypto reserve news. So perhaps this was just sheer luck, but more likely it was some insider information that leaked, and who knows who this individual is and if they are actually connected to any of the people that are running the show as far as the crypto reserve and are advising Trump. Who knows if there was a leak on purpose from the White House so that people can go ahead and create a grift. Now, it is important to note that the day after the crypto reserve was announced, everything sank down basically back to the levels that they were at. Something else that's very, very interesting to point out is that we would have thought that the cryptos included in the strategic crypto reserve would have been all American because that is what was being said by a lot of supporters of Trump. That being said, though, if you take a look, let's say Ethereum, which he mentions right here, it was created by a Russian programmer, Vitalik Buterin. The Ethereum Foundation is based in Switzerland. It doesn't really have ties to America. The Cardano Foundation, it's also based in Switzerland. Input Output Hong Kong is actually an interesting story, but it's important to point out that some of these cryptos are not all US based. Solana is, yes, Solana Labs is in San Francisco. Ripple Labs, obviously that's an American company that lined the pocket of the inauguration for Trump. So obviously they will get rewarded. Now, even though we saw these significant pumps, I still believe that the whole Trump coin fiasco, the pump and dump, or Trump and dump, if you will, of these shill coins like Melania coin, and then other presidents followed suit, like Malay, with the coin that he was touting as being really helpful for small businesses in Argentina, and then you saw it just be a giant rug pull, probably one of the worst in the history of the cryptocurrency space. It is important to note that if none of this happened, I feel like the strategic crypto reserve would have been taken so much more seriously, and we would have seen much higher pumps than what we saw now, because we didn't even get to the levels that we saw just recently. And you would think that if a strategic crypto reserve was announced, the prices would skyrocket. Also important to point out is that the White House is going to host its first Crypto Summit, and this is coming up on March 7th. So it's a big day. Watch out for that. I'm actually planning to potentially sell some of my crypto positions if the price goes really high. Then I think it'll be a situation of buy the rumors, sell the news type thing. I don't think Trump has the power to just create a strategic crypto reserve. It does have to go through the approval of Congress. Now, sure, they do have a bit of a majority in Congress, but we're going to see exactly what happens because for now, I don't believe it's just a sure thing that it will definitely happen. It's also important to point out that strategic reserves in the past from America used to be in key assets like oil, petroleum, medical equipment, even helium. There are a lot of traditional finance folks that are worried and they're saying, why Bitcoin? You can't just have a reserve of something because you hope the price is going to go up. Strategic reserve used to be something that is tangible, that has actual utility, that we should be worried about having a shortage. Why are we worried about Bitcoin? Bitcoin crypto is not even currently a hedge against inflation. And I know that some will argue in the comment section and say it is, but the reality is it is not. If you take a look at the chart of Bitcoin and you go ahead and measure that up against times when there were inflation concerns or inflation went sky high, you would think that Bitcoin would do the exact opposite, but it basically followed the stock market. So currently, unfortunately, Bitcoin is not a hedge against inflation, but I do believe it will be so in the future. There are also concerns about who is going to fund this. Will this all be funded with taxpayer money? Is this just wealth transfer from the average Americans to crypto bros and governments and smart money and banks and hedge funds that already have a ton of crypto? People are concerned about that because some taxpayers aren't even for crypto and they're like, why do I have to pay money towards this fund? That being said, though, David Sachs, the crypto czar, came out and slapped down Joe Lonsdale, who was posting that taxation is theft, it should be kept to a minimum, yada yada, and he was saying that it's wrong to steal money for grift on the left. But the reality is, David Sachs said nobody announced a tax or a spending program. Maybe you should wait to find out what's actually being proposed. And I kind of agree here because we are jumping the gun a little bit as far as what potentially is going to happen, how much will be bought up, and what is going to be the methods by which it is funded. Now, many people are concerned that a lot of these cryptos that the US will be investing in is going to be used for debt reduction, and this is quite risky because it's akin to a person who is in credit card debt, maybe has a large mortgage, and says, you know what, why don't I just go to Atlantic City and put everything on black, and if it wins, I'll be able to pay everything off. A lot of people that are still in traditional finance, they say it's too volatile of a market crypto is, and we should not be investing in it as a country. So it's also important to point out that if the US does invest a lot into crypto, it might have a little bit of centralized control as far as the supply is concerned. And then if that occurs, if they go ahead and sell it off to pay off debt, this can crash the prices. And so some people in crypto are actually concerned about this as well. I'm curious on what you guys think. Let's talk about it in the comment section. But I do want to finish off with this funny article I found from the end of February where a woman could be deported after stealing $800,000 worth of Trump coin from ex-boyfriend. I will also link this in the description, but I do want to point out that whatever price increases we saw and wherever crypto stands now, I believe it would have been doing so much better if we did not have these meme coins and shill coins that Trump, Melania, and leaders of other countries went ahead and used on naive supporters to go ahead and make tremendous profits. And it saddens me to the core because this really could have been a huge bull run, a continuation of things. And those meme coins, those shit coins, they poked holes in the sails of the ship that is crypto and this bull run. And it's very, very sad because I think we would be sitting at all-time highs today. That being said though, if you've watched my previous videos, you know I've done deep research on when Bitcoin's price is going to hit its peak and when altcoin season is going to start. I will link that video in the description of this video as well. And I appreciate all of you for watching this video in its entirety. Hopefully you found it to be educational, somewhat entertaining, somewhat thought-provoking, and I'll see some of you in the next one.